today? I hope you are doing good because for today's video lesson, we are going to do a lot of science activities and you're still with me, Teacher Roping. Have you been to a supermarket or a market? If you have, surely you are familiar with these items here and these items here. But have you ever asked yourself which among these items are mixtures and which are substances? If you are confused, then let us find out in this video.
This video lesson is under chemistry, and the specific learning competency is to distinguish mixture from substances based on set of priorities. Have you ever asked yourself this question? If you have, then you are in the right video lesson. Our target objectives for this lesson are the following. First is to differentiate substances from mixtures based on boiling properties. Second is to differentiate substances from mixtures based on melting properties. Now let us try this short quiz about substances and mixtures. Directions: choose the letter of the correct answer and write it in your notebook. Number 1. What happens to a mixture when it melts? A. It melts completely. B. It does not melt at all. C. It does not melt completely. D. It melts in a specific temperature. Number 2. Which among the choices below will boil at a constant temperature? A. Aluminum. B. Soda. C. Calamansi juice. D. Detergent solution. Number 3. Which of the following statements best describes a pure substance? A. It does not melt. B. It has an even composition. C. It has 2 or more components. D. It has uniform composition throughout. Number 4. What happens to the temperature of a substance during boiling? A. It changes from time to time. B. It does not change at any time. C. It does not change until it is heated. D. It changes at first and then it becomes the same. Number 5. Which among the choices below will boil at a changing temperature? A. Aluminum. B. Mercury. C. Zinc. D. Calamansi juice. Now kids, please be ready for an activity about mixtures and substances. In this activity, we are going to boil some liquids. This is entitled Boiling Liquids. For the materials, kindly prepare the following: watch, beaker, hot plate, alcohol lamp, and thermometer. The liquids that we are going to use are acetone and juice. Procedure: 1. Place 150 ml of the given substance on a beaker. 2. Start recording the temperature of the acetone once it has been boiling for 2 minutes. Boiling happens when the liquid forms bubbles, growing larger as it goes to the surface and bursts. 3. Record at least 5 temperature readings at 1 minute interval. 4. Remove the beaker on the tripod when the volume of the liquid reaches half of its original volume. Place the beaker with the juice and repeat the procedure. 5. Graph the results. Plot the temperature intervals on the y-axis and the time on the x-axis. Just copy the given graph and plot your answers.
Okay kids, I will be performing the activity for boiling liquids. The materials that we are going to use are the following: wire goose, tripod, alcohol lamp with denatured alcohol inside, beakers, and a thermometer. Now for the liquids that we are going to use for this experiment, we need to have an acetone and a juice. You can just use a powdered juice mixed with water for the mixture. Okay, so let us do the setup for this experiment. Let us have first the acetone. And by the way, please do not forget to set your timers, because once the acetone will start boiling for 2 minutes, we will be recording the temperature for a 1 minute interval. We need 5 records for the temperature. And now, let us just wait for the acetone to boil. Once you see that bubbles are forming inside the solution, we will wait for 2 minutes for it to boil. Then we can start recording for the temperatures in a 1 minute interval. So let us just set our timers first for 2 minutes, and then we are going to start recording. Okay, so two minutes is up. That means we can now start recording the temperature for a 1 minute interval. So let us record first the first 1 minute. Okay, so we are done recording the 5 temperatures that we need for this activity. After performing the activity for the acetone or for the substance, let us have now the mixture, which is a juice. Okay, same procedure applies. We're going to place this one in the tripod with a wire goose. And then, let us wait for this to boil. And then afterwards, we are going to record the temperature still in a 1 minute interval. Okay kids, once the mixture starts to boil, we are going to set our timer for 2 minutes. And afterwards, we can now get the temperature for 1 minute interval. Okay, in measuring the temperature of the mixture, make sure that the tip of the thermometer will not touch the liquid. Okay kids, now that you already have the data for the different temperatures, all you need to do is to graph it in the given graph that will be projected on your screen. If you want to try this activity as well in your home, you can find another alternative materials if some of these materials are not available. But remember, do not try this activity without an adult supervision.
Just copy the given graph and plot your answers. This time, kids, answer the following guide questions related to our activity. Number 1. What was the initial temperature on the thermometer? Number 2. What is the boiling point of your given substance? Number 3. What happened to the temperature as the setup was boiling? Number 4. Describe your graph. I'll be giving you 5 minutes to answer, so please set your timer and pause this video for a while. Good job, kids, for finishing the activity. This time, kids, let us observe how substance and mixture differ in melting. Please prepare yourselves for another activity. This activity is entitled Looks Can Be Deceiving. Materials: match, tripod, stopwatch, watch glass, wire goose, alcohol lump, and sugar for the substance, salt and sugar for the mixture. Procedure: 1. Prepare the setup shown in Figure 1. 2. Using a tip of a ballpen cup, place about a scoop of sugar on the other half of the watch glass and a scoop of salt and sugar mixture on the other half of the watch glass. 3. Examine the samples. Describe the appearance and observe the samples as it melts. 4. Record and compare the time it takes for the two to melt completely.
Now, kids, there are instances that it is difficult to identify which is a mixture and which is a substance by just merely looking. In this activity entitled Looks Can Be Deceiving, we are going to identify the difference between mixture and substance in another property called melting. The materials that we will be needing for this activity are the following. We have a wire goose, tripod, alcohol lump, watch glass, a spoon, and then we need a sugar for the substance and a mixture of sugar and salt for the mixture. Okay, kids, let us do the setup. First is we are going to light the alcohol lump using a match. Next is we are going to place the tripod and the wire goose on top. Then we are going to scoop an amount of sugar and place it on the other half of the watch glass. And then we are going to scoop the same amount of salt and sugar mixture and place it on the other half of the watch glass as well. Then we are going to place the watch glass on top of the wire goose. And then let us wait for it to melt. And let us take note of the time for it to melt completely. On the other hand, after 5 minutes, all the particles of sugar and salt have melted completely as well. Now you can now answer the guide questions that will be projected on your screen.
Now, kids, answer the following guide questions related to our activity. 1. What did you observe while the sugar and salt and sugar mixture are melting? 2. How would you describe a substance and mixture based on what you have observed? 3. How long does it take for the sugar and salt and sugar mixture to melt completely? I'll be giving you 5 minutes to answer, so please pause this video for a while. Well done, kids, for completing the activity. Please be reminded to keep your activity notebooks because it will be collected by your science teacher. This time, kids, let us do the note-taking for the discussion about the difference between mixture and substance. Pure substance is composed of one component only. Homogeneous mixtures are composed of two or more substances. The boiling point is the temperature at which vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to the atmospheric pressure. Vapor pressure is the measure of the tendency of a material to change into the gaseous or vapor state, and it increases with temperature. Atmospheric pressure is a force exerted on a surface by the air above it as gravity pulls it to Earth. During boiling, the temperature of a substance changes at the start, then it becomes the same, while the temperature of a mixture is different at different times. The melting point is the temperature at which it changes state from solid to liquid. The melting point of a substance depends on pressure and is usually specified at a standard pressure such as 1 atmosphere or 100,000 Pascal. During melting, a substance melts completely or smoothly within a short time, while a mixture has portions that seem to be not melting. Now, kids, let us see whether you have learned something from our lesson. Let us apply what you have learned. Directions: choose the best answer and write it in your notebook. 1. A substance has uniform or not uniform composition throughout. It melts completely or partially within a short period of time. 2. A mixture contains one component only or two or more components. It melts completely or partially within a short period of time. For the reflection part, I want you to complete the following sentence prompts. I have learned that. I wish to ask my teacher about, and write your answers in your activity notebook. Now we are down to the last part of our lesson. For the assessment, choose the letter of the correct answer and write it in your notebook. 1. Which statement is true regarding pure substances? A. Pure substances may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. B. Pure substances have definite boiling and melting points. C. Pure substances can be further broken down into simpler substances. D. Pure substances are physical combinations only of two or more elements. 2. Which is an example of mixture? A. Dew. B. Sugar. C. Iodine crystals. D. Rubbing alcohol. Number 3. Which of the following best describes a mixture? A. It exhibits Stendhal effect. B. It is a homogeneous system. C. Its components are present in fixed proportion. D. It is a physical combination of two or more substances. 4. What happens to the temperature of a substance during boiling? A. It changes from time to time. B. It does not change at any time. C. It does not change until it is heated. D. It changes at first and then it becomes the same. Number 5. Which among the choices below will boil at a changing temperature? A. Aluminum. B. Mercury. C. Zinc. D. Calamansi juice. Congratulations, kids! You have finished our video lesson. Please be reminded again that your science notebook will be collected by your science teacher. So please contact your science teacher once you are done with all the activities.
So kids, see you on the next video.